sucks.
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast. A Marine Corps League until Valhalla Project Ambassador. Now streaming on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with the crew. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? Make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There is a cool merchandise tab. You can click on that. You can go in there and get you a cool shirt. Maybe you like to wear a hat. Oh, heck, maybe you like to drink whiskey out of a mug. If not, maybe one of these types of things to do you good. But anything that you get helps support us and getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Also, a big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing some amazing things. If you don't know anything about that organization, go to their website. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. Go check them out. And if there's any way you can help them, it would be much appreciated.
Major Lee Stuckey. We've been blessed to bring in thousands and thousands of veterans and first responders and save hundreds from suicide. We don't want to be a handout, and we want to be a hand up with our four pillars, which are physical, financial, emotional, and for me, most importantly, spiritual, and give them a good, healthy foundation in a safe, sober environment for a 4-day event.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, we're back. I got the crew here. We're going to go ahead and go round robin. All right, Sensei Nay, how you doing, man?
Good. It's been busy this last week. Getting ready. Just had my spring concert on Friday, and it was I would say a success. Didn't have the turnout that we had for Christmas, but I'll take what I can get. Kids played well. My beginner band played 6 or 7 tunes. My intermediate band played 5 or 6 tunes. My rock band played "Fly Like an Eagle." Played a jazz tune called "Blue Moon," and then we closed with what did we close with? Oh, a Stevie Wonder tune, "I Wish." Then the choir sang about 6 or 7 tunes, and then we closed the entire program with a program, so choir, rock band, and band arrangement of Africa. And I think it was a hit. The almost in a comical way, the drummer for the rock band dropped his stick in the middle of it's like in the going. Gotta take me away from right there when transition into the chorus, right? To hear and that was I look over there and he's like grabbing a stick out of the stick bag, and gets hops right back in. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
So it was epic. Definitely one for the yearbook. It's gonna be great. Let's see what else. Not a whole lot. I got a lot of stuff coming up this week. Tuesday I have a VA appointment for my supplemental claim, and then we'll see how that goes. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea 9 months after I got out of the Marine Corps, so I'm still within that year window, but I never got around to claiming it. So I went to the DAV,
Nice.
Disabled American Vets organization.
Yeah.
So they host it every Thursday morning from 8 until 11. They host a come free and we'll help you out with your claim kind of session.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I went in there and said, hey, and while I was sitting there, he put my whole package together, walked it over to a lady who scanned it and uploaded it while I was sitting there. So it was a really easy process. So we'll see. So I'm claiming my sleep apnea and my tooth that the army messed up, and then yeah, we'll see if I can get to get up to the next level. I guess get to 100%.
Very nice.
But and then if not, I'm gonna find a lawyer and see if I can make it to 100% that way. Even if the
You'll
lawyer
get.
costs me, yeah, even the lawyer costs me money, it's going to be cheaper than Jenna's college education. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, hey, I don't know if you saw that, but Miss Lowe made a comment. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but she said, "Sorry, I've done my tour." I don't know what that means.
Yep.
I don't know if she's still out there, but if you are, you got to let us know. Sorry, go ahead.
Uh, I think let's see what's tonight's cigar. Yeah, I can't tell, but I know I've smoked one of these before, so I'm not going to rate it again. But yes, and then I'm pairing it with some green tea. It's going to be great.
That's
Hitting it
interesting.
hard tonight, Vic.
Yeah,
Hitting it
totally.
hard.
Well, we went
Yeah,
out over
he's
this last weekend. So we had a friend who's been diagnosed with stage 4 metastasized cancer. So a bunch of us went out and had drinks with him and his wife and some camaraderie.
nice. Well, that's good. Well, Mike, somebody said hi to you, but how you been doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I didn't have the exciting, exhilarating week that Vic had. Oh man, I didn't have all that excitement.
I don't know. You look like you had an exciting week. I mean, something happened. Uh,
Yeah,
you're missing something. You're
things
missing
went
something.
wonky. You know how it goes. You get the razor out, and next thing you know, it's like that. Gotta go.
But you
Nah.
got the stash, man. You got the highway patrol stash going. It's
Yeah, that's what
nice.
my son said last night. He said, "Did you just watch Super Troopers or something?" I
Yeah.
was like,
Who wants a mustache ride?
"No, it was no." You guys all heard me say that. I was like, "Yeah, 6 months. I shaved. Kelly and I were on a cruise for Halloween, and I shaved the morning of October 31st. So it was
Yep.
time. We're getting ready to skedaddle out next weekend on another cruise. So I was like, yeah, I need to get rid of it. It's
Yeah, I
it's it's
suppose.
it's time to go. But I
Yeah.
kept telling her, I was like, I'm keeping this. She goes, no, you're not. I was like, yeah, I am. I was last night. I had to raise her. I was like, it's like, no, do I really want to? I finally just went in and was like, at first it was down to here, and then I kept this, and then I was like, okay, well, that needs to go. And then,
Did you take pictures along the way?
no, I didn't.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
should have.
document the adventure. But
Yeah.
no, other than that, it's been a pretty even keeled week. Just work and getting lawn care done this weekend. So nothing,
Yeah. Right on. Well,
nothing
who's
too
who's
exciting.
Brenda? Brenda says hi, Mike.
Well, Brenda, my sister's Brenda, but I don't know
Is
that
that
that's
Brenda
her.
99361?
That I don't know. I'm
I
assuming.
don't know.
I
I
don't know.
mean, well,
My
hello,
sister's name
Brenda.
is Brenda, so hey, Brenda, if that's you.
You got to give us a thumbs up or something there, Brenda. You got to let us know. Well, I've been traveling the country. You guys know the last podcast we did, I went down to Orange Beach. That was a good time. And you look like dad. It must be your sister. Um, so I went down to Orange Beach for that A Hero function. And then I went to DC for the Modern Day Marine, which was awesome. Got to make a lot of contacts, have a good time. And then I went to see Colonel Nugent retired up in Pennsylvania. That was a good time. Drove up there yesterday, saw him. I'm back down here. And then tomorrow I'm going to Dwayne King's retirement over there at the President's Home. So he's retiring. So it'll be a good time. That's
Nice.
been my weekend, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Well, it's just us three on here tonight, so that's fun. We do have visitors. This is new to us here. But I guess we can go ahead and jump into it. You guys got stuff to talk about?
I do.
All
Yeah,
right.
but
Well,
before you
let's
do
jump
that,
into
are
it.
we able to respond to people at message, or is it just you?
It's probably just me. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys can
okay,
see it.
gotcha.
But as it pops up, I'm clicking them and putting them up there. So you can say hi or whatever and say
I
whatever it is you
gotcha.
want to say.
All right. Well, I will
What? No,
start.
no, no, no.
Oh, oh,
Military
my bad.
news with Vic. Trying to cheat and jump in there before. I saw that.
Well, first of all, I got to give a nod to May the 4th be with you.
Ooh,
Yeah, there we go.
yeah,
This is
that's good.
my Black Spire hat, Black
Nice.
Spire Outpost. So if you go to Star Wars Land down at Disney World, Star Wars Land is supposed to. It's basically in canon. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's part of the actual storyline of Star Wars. Sorry. And Star Wars Land, if you want to call it, is actually known that little area of the park is called Black Spire Outpost.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
so this is May the 4th be with you. So that's
Yeah, yeah,
my.
yeah. I like it.
All right. So
Yes,
actually, I'm
yes,
going to start off.
Dan, it is live, just so you know.
Yes, we
Can
are
y'all
live.
see those comments as they pop up?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead.
Dan Ireland's practically my neighbor, by the way.
I know. He
Let's
should
see.
jump on the podcast.
First up, White House budget plans to give 4% boost to VA. So covering a little bit of veteran news.
Okay.
They see while major discretionary funding cuts are planned for agencies like Department of Education down 15%, Department of Housing and Urban Development down 44%, but the White House plans to call for a 5.4 billion boost to VA program spending.
Nice.
Yeah, so which is around 2 billion are going to go towards accelerating the department's electronic health records overhaul, a project that's been stalled for 3 years. I'm not sure about that. Probably should have done a little bit more planning or research on that. But the other 3.3 billion is set aside for medical care improvements. So with specifics yet to be released. But
Well, that's
it's good
good.
that a couple extra $5.3 billion is nice. On to military news. Air Force is ground testing their collaborative combat aircraft. Have anybody of you heard about this yet?
No.
It's actually a really cool concept.
Yeah.
So I guess the company is Anduril. Anduril. I don't know how to say it. Anduril. Anduril. I don't know. But it's a drone wingman known as Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCA. Could be flying in within months. Air Force Chief of Staff General Dave Alvin announced the beginning of the ground testing phase. Thursday morning, it included a video of hangar doors opening dramatically to reveal the industry's YFQ TAC 44 Alpha. Great name. But the company previously referred to it as Fury. The whole concept is that it's a drone aircraft. It looks like it's about the size of another aircraft, but
Is
it
it a jet?
It's a jet, but it's unmanned.
Yeah.
But it follows an actual manned aircraft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's see. It's going to be based in California at the Beale Air Force Base in California. Let's see. The CCAs will use autonomous software to fly themselves with minimal direction from the pilots they accompany, and will be able to carry out missions such as airstrikes, intelligence gathering and reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and serve as decoys to lure enemies away from crewed aircraft. The Air Force has suggested it could have a fleet of about 1,000 CCAs, and are obviously cheaper than traditional fighter jets. Which I think it's. I mean, there's
Are they
so
remote
many
pilot, like the
possibilities.
remote pilot? Is that what it is?
I'm not. I don't know if it's remote pilot. I think it's tethered to an aircraft. So the
Oh, wow.
pilot, maybe it is remote, but I got the impression from the article it's tethered to the aircraft that it's flying with, and the pilot that's flying the aircraft like an F-35 can send the drone on to task to do airstrikes and reconnaissance and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, you pair that up with some type of helicopter, then the helicopter just hover while they sends the drone out to go do things, and I mean it seems like there's a lot of possibilities there.
It's almost like it's a tow. It's wire guided almost. I mean, is that when you say tethered, or does it not?
Not tethered in a physical sense, but like the F-35 that it would have come.
Yeah, they're linked together.
Yeah,
I got you.
So it's not necessarily a pilot that's 1,000 miles away or 6,000 miles away kind of thing.
At the modern day Marine, I would say a huge portion of it was drones, and it looked like a jet, so it might have been that. I have no idea, but it had like the jet, and then it had like gigantic, almost like helicopters. I mean, it was just maybe quarter size or something like that. I mean, they had all kinds of drones and stuff there. It was amazing. They had like drone boats and stuff. It was everything.
Let's see what else is going on.
That is amazing. I don't mean to cut you off, Vic, but that's an interesting thing. I think we've touched on it before, is how unmanned things like that. How the battlefield and how war is going to change. That there's always going to be a point in time where human beings have to storm the beach, but it's amazing. Can you stop and think the lives that could possibly be saved in the process of some of that? I mean, but in the same sense, does that mean we'll cut down forces, numbers, and
more aircraft, but less pilots.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that there have to be something's controlling it.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be a pilot in the plane.
Right now, yeah. But I mean, as AI continues to improve, technology doubles every 18 months. So as technology improves, I think the requirement of human interaction or human intervention is going to become less and less and less. In 10 years, it's going to be, hey, do this mission and take off, and it comes back several hours later without any human interaction.
Yeah. And that's
cool.
The video game generation that we've all talked about. They're the ones that are coming up with this stuff. They're the ones that are going to run this stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure you experienced that, Andrew. I mean, you've been retired a little over a year now. I'm sure you saw that kind of stuff going on.
I didn't see much of it.
What I'm saying, as far as younger Marines coming in, especially at the School of Music and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, young guys,
Yeah, they probably had PS4s, 5s, whatever, and Xboxes and all that stuff in their rooms.
Yeah,
playing away every night instead of practicing. But
well, yeah, there's that. Dan says
Vic was doing the same thing. So
he's doing the same thing now. He's probably playing video games. Dan says that's going to make EMP weaponry advance. They had EMP guns at the Pope's funeral to take down drones. That's cool. I like it.
I think you said it, Vic, but what does EMP stand for? I apologize.
Electromagnetic pulse.
Gotcha.
Basically kills like circuitry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So in other military branch news, Army to roll out enlisted space ops specialty. So we got the Space Force, and now the Army is going to come up with a space MOS for their enlisted. Let's see. Initially announced by the Army's Deputy Chief of Staff in December of 2024, the MOS titled 40 Delta Space Operations Specialist is on track to become official by October 2026. Soldiers will become the experts we turn to during the next conflict. Our Army space professionals support unique assets to indirect or interdict or disrupt adversaries using space capabilities, ensuring Army forces maintain the initiative to fight from positions of relative advantage in all domains. That's a nice general word salad there, but interested to see. I wonder why the Army feels the need to do that when we have an entire Space Force.
Maybe there'll be like a liaison type thing.
They just want to feel relevant.
Maybe.
Well, I had a buddy that was part of the space program in the Army, but like, and when he went through the program, part of his going through the program was to make a satellite.
Really?
Yeah, he like made a satellite. There's like, I don't know, like this. I don't know if you can tell by scale, maybe 12 inches square. You know.
Wow.
But yeah, but he had to make a satellite, which I thought was interesting. You know. I think it got launched. I have no idea. But he made a satellite. But I don't know if I was allowed to say that on air or to tell anybody. But
Well, if somebody comes knocking at your door while
Yeah.
we're standing here, we'll know that you shouldn't have. So
He did or didn't.
he may or may not have made a satellite.
yeah,
Cannot
there you go.
confirm nor deny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
You never saw it, so you know.
Right. And then I will finish by saying the Marine Corps Museum got a little bit of a roof replacement.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. The museum's distinctive architecture, inspired by the Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of Marines raising the American flag on Iwo Jima, presented unique engineering challenge as the skylight structure funneled thousands of gallons of rainwater onto the roof membrane during heavy rainfall, causing premature degradation and threatening exhibits below. So the Naval Facilities Engineer Systems Command, or NAVFAC, basically had to use top of the line, what they call it? Let's see, inverted roof membrane assembly is what they called it. Using a 100% solids roofing system made from polyurethane metha something M16 technology. This fluid applied solution minimized seams, became waterproof after 30 minutes of installation, and addresses the complex contours of the circular ring-shaped roof. So all that to say that the Marine Corps Museum got a new roof.
Nice.
So I hit veteran news, I hit military news, and that was my my good news story right there. So I got it all tonight.
So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Well, you're talking about roofs. Did you see that? I'm sorry, Andrew. I know
No, you're good. I'm just messing
We're
around.
not supposed to get too political on some things, but I'm not getting political. It's just reported things that a Doge had. Some of their reports for this week or last week was, what was it? The God, I forget who the hell it was now. One of the departments there in D.C. wanted, like, it was some multi-billion-dollar building renovation to upgrade their building, and Doge was like, no, not going to happen.
Really?
You know, and they literally wanted like rooftop gardens and VIP elevators and stuff like that were part of the renovations, and they're like, no,
Nice.
not
They should
gonna
go.
happen.
They should go take a look at barracks and chow halls and things of that nature before.
Well, that
they...
was the thing, because I saw it online, and then I went and started looking at it. I didn't say that it was the article on it. They were talking about that and several other things. It's just stupid. You know, how we dealt with things like budget-wise, you know, especially the band field in the Marine Corps. You know, it was one of, you know, we all heard that after Iraq, and all, you know, Vic, you probably heard it. And, you know, Andrew was just a lonely sergeant at the time.
It's true.
He wasn't involved in all that stuff. But, you know, all of a sudden they had all these funds, and it's like, well, if we don't use them, we're going to lose them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, can you spend money? Can you do this? It's kind of like you, Vic, you know, in the position you're at now is, you know, we got this money. Can you spend it? Yep.
Spent.
You know, that was why a 7-year replacement plan for us in the band field was so important, because I literally could open that baby up and, you know, get an email, and it's, you know, from a captain or major down at the comptroller's like, hey, can you spend this money? It's like, yeah. Can you spend it in the next 30 minutes? And they're like, all of a sudden they're on the phone, and, you know, on the other end, and he's like, I just got your email. You know, it's like, yeah, it's already spent. I've got all the background work done for you. Here's everything you need. But it's sad reading this article, though, is they're like, if we don't spend the money, we're going to lose it. So what they're uncovering is, a lot of that money was filtered out and then put into separate accounts.
Yeah.
And, those accounts didn't have any, there was no congressional jurisdiction or anything over them. So that money went out so they could separated so they could then throw big VIP parties and big galas and all kinds of garbage, and that's the money that, we all end up paying.
Yeah.
Whether it's all 100% true, you can't, I'm not saying I believe everything I read online, but
yeah, but that stuff is happening though.
Oh, absolutely.
Gotta
Makes
love
like
it.
I know nothing about any of that kind of stuff in my.
I just spent $15K in about half an hour a couple weeks ago, and it all started to arrive, and then now I got a little bit of money left my my budget at school, and I just dropped $2,000 on Amazon.
Nice.
I need a bunch of storage, and me and the choir director need a bunch of storage. But it was really cool that the rock band got to use virtually all the equipment that I was able to purchase from our patriotic donor. So
basically, it's all brand new equipment they use then.
Oh yeah, I mean we were using Fender Stratocasters and all kinds of Fender amps and all kinds of stuff, man.
Well, good for them.
Pedal boards,
that's awesome.
everything. Yeah,
that's a good deal. They were probably in hog heaven, man.
Oh yeah, it was nice. Well, the choir director was a little disappointed because despite my best effort, I could not mic the choir properly. You
just didn't have the right equipment to do it.
Yeah, I didn't have the right boom mics to mic the choir properly, and I felt really bad because especially when we got to Africa, I mean you could hear them coming out of the mains, but they were if I cranked them up anymore, we'd start to get feedback. So like I mean it was as good as it was going to get, and you could hear them, but they were still not present enough in the mix.
Yeah.
So, but I told the choir director, I told her I would do some research and hopefully next time. The school has been hiring, these sound techs, $5,000-$7,000 to come to a single event, and I'm like, I'm not a sound tech, but after 24 years in the Marine Corps, I know my way around a soundboard,
Yeah.
And I can mic things and do this, and like the last 2 years for the musical, I was the sound guy for the musical, and the musical it's gone fine. At least the last 2 years. But I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get more and more intrigued by the whole endeavor. So I think sometime soon I'm going to start going down the rabbit hole of sound engineering. It's getting, the more and more curious I get, the more it guides, my further curiosity. And it's what about this? What about that? Oh, I need this kind of mic. Oh, okay, what about the mic directions and all this kind of stuff, and the cardioid field versus a diaphragm and all that blah blah blah. It's starting to get interesting.
Yeah. Well, you should go up to Virginia Beach and take the course that they have there. The sound course. And
man, I totally tried. I tried like 3 years in a row when I was at Miramar. And the bandmaster there is like, no, you're an EC. That's for the sound people. And I'm like, they got an extra seat that nobody's feeling. Let me feel it. No. You're an EC. We got sound people. There's somebody will feel it. Somebody feel it. Guess what? Nobody filled it. And I'm like, come on.
When did that start?
The sound course?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been going for like 10 years, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, it's developed quite a bit since it first started. But the Navy it's been their course the whole time. And just this past year, the Navy, they were like, yeah, we're not going to do anything with it. It's your guys' course now. So they gave it to the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
So now everybody's got Mr. Microphones walking around with. You guys remember Mr. Microphones?
Yeah. They do a lot of cool stuff in there, though. I mean, they do recordings. They do. I mean, it's insane. They do all kinds of good stuff.
Well, why would they give it up? Why wouldn't they want to continue it? Is it just not advantageous, or what? They got enough money where they
No, they are
contract that
going
crap
in a.
out, or what?
They're going in a different. Uh, they're moving in a different direction, I think. So they're going to hire sound techs directly off the street, which means they have to go to a school, which is our basic course, right? They have to learn sound stuff in the basic course. So they've had to create a curriculum specifically for those guys in the A course. And everything that they're learning in their basic course is basically what we're teaching in the sound course. So they were like, well, there's no need to do the sound course for us, uh,
Oh,
because
so
that's an
that's an actual
advanced
MOS
MOS.
for them now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So apparently the sound techs, I get hired on as a sound tech in the Navy. Now I have to know all of the things that encompass the band, right? So like I need to know how to what trumpets do. I need to know, like, I got to know everything. And if I'm a sound guy, I'm like, well, I don't know all that stuff. Why would I need to know that? But if you join the Navy, you got to know it.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. It's going to be but anyways, Marine Corps picking it up and they're going to run with it, and now they can do all the things that they wanted to do that they were butting heads with the Navy about. So
Well, guys just need to go through Blue Water Audio. You guys still use those guys?
I have no
Are
idea.
they out of business, or are they?
I got no idea, man. If Rob Merriking were here, I could ask him. He'd know all that stuff.
Well, I
But
was
I have
that
no idea.
bunch out of San Diego that did all the. They were gonna. The band hall at Pendleton. They were doing all the audio and.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure they
Well,
did
they're probably
the audio refit for Miramar too.
Yeah.
they're
They were
probably still
sound
around.
guys and roadies with. Well, the one guy, I can't remember their names now. I can see both of their faces, but he was in bad shape as far as kidney dialysis and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
So I would assume they are. The two of them were at the point they'd both had a hard life. So
Hmm.
I think they had done sound and were roadies for Kiss and stuff like that. So,
Oh, right on.
but I mean, they established an amazing business. They did good work, but
Yeah. Hmm.
couldn't convince the Marine Corps of that in that band hall. But I don't even know what ended up in there because I left before it was finished. So
They got all kinds of crazy stuff in there, but I don't know what all it is. I
I
have
had
no
spent
idea.
2 years working on that damn thing and never got to see it finished. So
It's probably still not finished. I don't know.
I
They're
will
still
never
working on it.
forget that band hall because it was at Chow Hall
Yeah, it was old Chow
across
Hall.
from the
Yeah.
Armory, and I remember walking in there because they had it all completely gated up and everything, and
Hmm.
they kept saying, "Oh, we walked it, and it was like, well, this is going here. This is where the office is, rehearsal hall, everything." And like 2 weeks later, we had to do a weekly meeting, but I walked in there 2 weeks later, and I'm like, "Where the hell's the building?" There was literally one wall still up, nothing but a cement slab.
Are you serious? I
They
didn't know that.
they took every freaking wall down
Wow.
Wow.
because it didn't meet code for California earthquake code and
Oh yeah.
everything
Well, that
else. And
makes
I'm like,
sense.
well, what the hell? I mean, and I literally looked at the contractor and I was like, wouldn't it have been cheaper just to demo it and build a new building? He goes, yeah. So they had to put all the walls back up. They all had to be structured, strapped in, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, what's
That's
up with the
funny.
one wall? And he was like, well, that's the only wall that met code. I'm like,
So they left one wall
what?
up.
It was the only wall. But that one, I
Nice.
can't remember his name. He was the one that basically handled all the finances for it. Him talking about it, and he goes, we couldn't get it approved. He said we couldn't get a new build approved. He said, but we can get a rehab approved.
It's a
Yeah.
different pot of money.
And I was like, but it's more money. He goes, I'll never forget this to this day. He goes, yep. He said
Yeah,
it
that's
would
the
have
way
been
it works,
cheaper
I
and it would
guess.
have been faster to build it exactly the way it was meant to be instead of trying to make this to what you want.
Yeah, it
But
makes sense.
yeah, that's the government for us. So
Did you know they built the new division headquarters in 33 area where the headquarters battalion building was? They tore all that down and they built a
they
brand
tore
new
the White
building.
House down?
No, not the White House. The White House is going to be a museum, I think, for
Oh, okay.
the First Marine Division Association. But the headquarters battalion in 33 area, when you first come up that hill, all that was tore down and they rebuilt brand new division headquarters.
Wow. No, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
you gotta see the pictures of that. It's pretty cool.
So I was senior listed at Paris Island when we went through the whole process with the band building, or started the process with the band building in Paris Island. So hurricane came through, lifted up the roof and slammed it back down, and snapped off 16 of the 30 trusses that hold the roof up.
Oh my God.
And nobody noticed it until they were putting a new roof on the building.
What?
And by new roof, I mean just new shingles.
Yeah.
So nobody looked under the roof to make sure that the roof structure was still good. They just ripped off the old shingles and put new shingles back on it.
Wow.
And then it just so happens that the project manager, the same thing happened to his house, and he
Mm.
noticed like two of his whatever rafters up there had been broken off. So he's like, I wonder if they checked the superstructure under the roof at the band hall. And he came in, lifted up a ceiling tile, and it was like, oh no. Started taking pictures, and he goes, so you guys have about 2 months to be out of this building, and you must vacate the north side of the building immediately.
No
And we're
kidding.
like, what the heck? So we started like went to base and like, where are we gonna go? We got to go somewhere. And they slapped some lipstick on the an old pig in the back corner, what used to be the original CG's building. And it was just closed down and hadn't been used for like 3 or 4 years, completely empty. So they put a fresh coat of paint on the inside and moved us in there.
I'm surprised you didn't go in there and find alligators and all
Oh
kinds
man.
of shit, man.
And then by the time I left Paris Island, the roof was actually caving in. Like you could go inside and look up and see the sky caving in.
Wow.
And now they're like, I think they're actually trying to fix it now. But that when we were talking about, hey, how do we replace this and all this kind of stuff, that's when I found out that different pots of funding and all kinds of stuff. If you want a new building, it's got to go on a list. It goes on a priority list, and every year that list is reassessed and reprioritized. So you might get your building in 2 years, you might get your building in 5 years. If it's approved, it's going to stay on the list and it will get built eventually, but you don't know when. But for renovations, if you can keep it under a certain dollar amount, or maybe do it in multiple phases, then you can get a renovation, within a year or two.
Yeah.
So they were trying to figure out, how do we fix the band building, the whole roof and all that kind of stuff with a renovation. You can even add on new structure. So like we'd add on, a new rehearsal hall to the side of the building or something like that, So they
Yeah.
were playing that game, and it's
Wow.
yeah, it's a headache. But yeah, I'll be glad. I'll be surprised if it gets done in my lifetime.
Oh
But isn't
my
that
God.
amazing that that's got all the steps and everything that's got to be done just for that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's not important. Is it vital to national security? No. But I mean, when you stop and really look at it and what it's used for, but then we'll turn around and spend like $6 billion on a building renovation and for a government agency, and it's like, but you don't want to spend. I don't know what it would have cost to put a new roof on a damn place, but you're probably looking at, even if it was $1 million. I mean, but was it a relatively new facility at Paris Island?
Oh no,
No,
no.
okay.
It
I
was
don't
the
think there's many
original.
new buildings there, are there?
Just the barracks are the newest buildings.
Yeah.
3rd Battalion recruit barracks are the newest buildings.
Well, that's the way it should be. 3rd Battalion should get the best.
Absolutely.
You know what? I don't like either one of you.
I'm guessing Vic was 3rd Battalion.
Kilo.
Yeah.
Yep.
We know you guys just got strong. That was it.
The band building used to be the old schoolhouse, where they bring the recruits in and give them their history classes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So actually, when I checked into Paris Island, the first sergeant there, First Sergeant Palmer, Rupert Palmer, who's now Sergeant Major, First Sergeant Palmer, when he went through recruit training, that was his schoolhouse.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Well, Vic, do you got anything else, or should we go on to our?
I yield the rest of my time.
You yield the rest of your time. All right. Well, let's go to Marvelous Mary News with Mike McNaney.
Hello. Sorry, I was looking for my article and I lost it.
That's all right.
Yeah,
I don't think we're in a big hurry or anything.
It's par for the course with me. Oh, here it is. Well, I was looking at a thing on the Good News Network and it said today in history. So I was looking at that and it took me from my article. You're a big reader, aren't you, Vic? You like reading?
Not so much. I mean, I used to be. I kind of slowed down a little bit in the last 2 or 3 years, but I used to read quite a bit. Now I listen to more audiobooks than anything else.
Well, the reason I say, I listen to podcasts and I started listening to audiobooks too. My problem is when I start reading like a book, like I want to sit down and read a book, I get so distracted I can't finish it. I think that's the world we live in now, where you have your phone.
Yeah.
You get these little bits of information and you can click on your phone. But anyways, today in history, in 1953, Ernest Hemingway was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for The Old Man and the Sea.
No kidding. That's a good book.
What was another one I saw? Let's see here. Margaret Thatcher became the first female prime minister of the United Kingdom in 1979.
Okay.
And that's about all I saw for that good stuff. So, all right.
I'm listening to a book right now called The Anxious Generation.
The Anxious Generation.
The Anxious Generation. The author basically, after all of his research, has labeled 2010 to 2015, so that 5-year period, 2010 to 2015, as the great rewiring of American youth.
Yeah, you talk about that.
Yeah, it's so I'm only got like a couple hours left in the book, so I'm almost near the end of it. I was actually telling some of the teachers about it where I teach, and one of them was like, "Can you please do like a presentation over it for our next professional development?" So I started putting together a presentation, even though I haven't even finished the book yet. But it's interesting. It's a little sad too, because I don't think it's just kids. What social media and a handheld computing device has done to everybody. Not just kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
what do we all do now? You pick up your phone and you start looking at it.
Yeah. But the kids are the ones that are suffering the worst, because it's literally rewiring their brains. Adults, you understand, especially for us older generation that didn't grow up with cell phones or tablets or anything like that. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was almost out of college. But it's actually I was out of college. My first cell phone was the year I started teaching. But kids that grow up with them like my daughter knew how to unlock my cell phone when she was 2. And here I am thinking, oh yeah, my daughter's so smart because she can, navigate through the cell phone. And little did I know that that's exactly what they were trying to do.
Who?
Yeah, they're literally trying to make it so kids they can get hooked immediately, and like the book talks about the effects on the dopamine rush, and there's 4 criteria: the trigger, the action, the varied stimulus, and the investment. Is So every app, whether it's a game or anything on your phone, is either highlighting one or all 4 of those things. All video games that you would play on your phone go through the action. You get some type of notification on your phone saying, "Hey, don't forget to play the game," or somebody commented on your post or something like that, right? So for
Yeah.
social media, you get the trigger. Then the action is you have to go in and click on buttons to get to
Mm-hmm.
wherever the information you want is. That's the action. The
Yeah.
varied stimulus is somebody commenting on your post, somebody inviting you to play a game or something like that. Sometimes they're not. You get the trigger. Don't forget to check your Instagram feed. You go look at it, nobody's commented on your post. So what do? You go to another social media and see if anybody's commented on those posts. So that's where the varied stimulus comes from. And then the investment, like so a lot of the video games have some type of pay to play aspect to them, or even now any of the social media posts. You can buy different filters, you can do different things with them. So once you add a little bit of money, and sometimes it's not even much, it's just 99 cents here, 99 cents there, $1.99 here, but now you have an actual monetary investment. You're working on characters, you're building up your profile, your likes, and all this kind of stuff. So you have an
Yeah.
investment, and then what do those things do? They trigger you to do something else, which follows the action, and then the stimulus variance, and then more investment, and it's cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just
I could see
it's
that.
yep.
And that's the sad thing that I've read several articles on that. I'm sure you guys have too, about, anxiety now. And
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the
younger
book touches on all
generations
that
that
too.
if somebody doesn't comment on your post, or, it's like, well,
Yep.
I'm not getting the views I think I should get. And then, it's almost psychotic. It's going back. Okay, who looked at it now? Is anybody on there? Are they looking at it now? Are they
Yeah.
doing this or doing that? And unfortunately, that's just the world we live in, Andrew. You deal with that too with the podcast.
Yeah.
It's
I
like, what
do.
kind of
Yeah, for
views am
sure.
I getting? What kind of following am I getting? I mean, am I getting the views I need? Is, following
Mm-hmm.
trends,
Yeah.
in different shows and different things. But
I'm having to constantly go in and, okay, I got to do a post, and then I have to post it on several different things, and
yeah,
then I got to go, okay, if somebody comments, I need to try to go back in and comment on that. And luckily I don't have a lot of comments, so that's a good thing.
yeah,
But because I'm not real good about answering them.
yeah,
But yeah, and then how many people watched it today? How many downloads did I
yeah.
get? And it's
Well,
just
you
a
look at
constant
it. I
chasing
mean,
of
the
the tail.
anxiety, and a lot of things for me, like I'll see you post online, Andrew, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, and I'll like it, but I don't sit there and just harbor on Facebook. I have Instagram, but I hardly ever look at it.
Yeah.
I used to be on TikTok a little more, but I haven't looked at TikTok in months. But that's where these kids now are getting this anxiety of, okay, well, I posted this, and I'm not getting the follows, and and it's even younger kids, and that's where the whole thing comes into play with almost bullying, but in the sense that young girls and stuff. You see this crap online, and everybody has to look this way or look that way, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
that's what's being portrayed. And there's a lot of things out there that's like, no, you don't have to be that way. You can just be you. But
Hmm.
they're far outnumbered from. But
Yep.
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
that's the world we live in, and that goes back into what you talked about earlier, Vic, with the technology that's out there, with even fighting wars.
Hmm.
It's all coming down to whether we like it or not. It's all the same thing. So, but anyways, we're on the good news, right?
Yeah, good news. Good news.
All
Let's hear that.
right. Well, this one's about a month old. I apologize. I've had it saved, but I hadn't had the opportunity to read it. So, a party-loving senior celebrates her 105th birthday with a DJ and a rave.
A rave. for a 100th birthday.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Okay.
A sprightly senior who says she loves to dance and party told her caregivers that she wanted to hold a rave to celebrate her 105th birthday.
Wow.
And this is from, unfortunately, it's from March 1st. That's when I've been holding on to. But so last Tuesday, which would have been in March, Hilda Jackson swapped her walker for glow sticks and UV paint as a DJ descended on the Holbrook home care facility in Derbyshire, England. Staff helped organize the bash with fellow residents who enjoyed the open bar and lively dance classics spun from a booth set up in the lounge. Hilda rolled back the years by swaying to disco tunes with friends and family and tipping back a gin and tonic.
Okay.
Young at heart, Hilda, who received over 250 cards from well-wishers, including King Charles himself, said, "I love a party, so I'm going to be raving. I've
I love
enjoyed
it.
every minute of my life, which I intend to keep on doing while I can. I
Yeah.
never thought I'd be able to age, but I never thought I was going to be this age. But unfortunately, I'm here and I'm grateful." Nottingham rapper Bruce C. also, that's me as an old man saying Bruce C. But it's probably like Brucey. Entertained a 70 guests with a specially written rap for Hilda in her major milestone birthday. Jägermeister provided drinks for the guests, although many opted for soft drinks. Hilda, who was born
Wow.
when George V was on the throne, is the senior home's oldest resident. As to her secret for a long, healthy life, Hilda said, "I couldn't get enough tennis." She loved playing
Okay.
and watching tennis, especially Wimbledon, and was an avid traveler in her young days. I just kept on, and while I can, I just keep on while I can, and take every day as it comes. Following her husband's death, her sister Vera also became a widow, so the two lived together for 63 years until Vera died. The pair would
Wow.
often travel around the United Kingdom and dancing on holidays and abroad on dancing cruises. She has lived through 22 different prime ministers and carried on driving until she was 100 years old.
Oh my God.
Care home manager Rebecca Wass said she thinks Hilda picked up the idea of a rave from a TV show. She's always been a big fan of dancing and living life to the fullest, and she said she wanted to do something to represent that. A few of us were up for dancing, and Hilda said, "Give it a go." Described as a very cheeky lady, she is constantly on the go, and Hilda has some advice for fellow oldsters. Just keep on keeping on and keep batting.
Nice. Man, 105. That's impressive. I'm just
Yeah, but
I'm
the
just
fact
hoping
she
I
wanted to
make it
have
to
a party and
60.
she was drinking a gin and tonic. So
I know. Maybe that's the secret. You just drink a gin and tonic and it what is it? I almost said ferment. That's not what I was trying to say.
like formaldehyde, like
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Helps the
preserves you.
insides.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. Could be. Good night.
Well, there's a lot of people like that. I mean, you read stories about older people,
Yeah.
especially women, older women, live to be that get, that kind of age.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like, well,
true.
what's the secret of life? They're like, every morning I had a bourbon. It's like, okay, I can't fault you on that one. And it's like,
Who's the there's the guy that always smoked a cigar. What
oh,
was his
George
name?
Burns.
George Burns. Yeah,
Yeah,
he lived for a long time.
yeah,
Always had a cigar.
yeah. Well, that's what was he on? Johnny Carson or something. And Johnny Carson was asking him, he's like, how many, he was in his 90s or something then. I don't remember when he
Yeah.
passed. This was back in the 80s or whatever. He's like, he walks out with a cigar and he's sitting there and he goes, well, how many cigars is this for the day? He goes, oh, this is my sixth one. He goes, I slowed down, I do, 6 to 8 cigars a day, and
Holy cow.
sitting there drinking, scotch or something like that. But
Yeah.
he said, I've slowed down a lot. It's like,
I don't think I could survive doing 6 cigars a day. That might mess me up.
Man, I there have been some days that I've gotten as many as 3 in. Sometime maybe 4. But golly, man, I feel like absolute hammered horse shit the next day. Like my mouth is like all, I wake up in the morning and it feels like I've eaten a pile of dog shit.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
like
like a cigar, like right now, Vic, when you smoke a cigar, do you inhale it? I'm assuming you get some of it.
well, very little of it. You actually get the nicotine
Yeah.
through the saliva.
Yeah.
But
Your mouth is going to absorb.
Yeah, when you swallow your saliva is where you get your nicotine. But like the smoke, I very rarely do I ever. I mean, it's like just a few minutes ago that the ash dropped off my cigar and I gave it a little and I breathed a little smoke in, but it's like that. I mean, I never ever inhale. You just taste the smoke.
But I mean, you bring it in your mouth and blow it out, or you put it up through your nose and blow it out, or just through your mouth?
Just through the mouth. What blowing it out through your nose is what they call a retrohale. I'll do a retrohale, especially on new cigars that I haven't tried before. And sometimes on old ones that I appreciate, or previous ones that I appreciate. But a retrohale gives you a little bit more sense of the bouquet of the tobacco. You get a few different tastes and stuff when you do a retrohale, but you can't do it that often because it will burn out your olfactory senses.
Yeah.
So yeah, 99.9% of the time I'm exhaling through, just pulling in my mouth, out the mouth.
Yeah. And I don't smoke good cigars like that, Vic. I don't know anything about cigars other than what you talk about, the nasty Rita or whatever it was. But I'll do like my cigar review that night. I did mine. It was a fine quality line of Black and Mild, but
yeah,
say like I smoke, like I'll sit there and puff on one throughout the day for like a week. And all of a sudden, by the end of the week, I'm like, God, I got this freaking weird ass taste in my mouth. And I've told my wife, I'm like, nothing tastes good to me. It tastes like crap. And I've always wondered, if you're a cigar smoker, do you get that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
it'll ruin your taste to a certain extent.
Yeah, it almost looks like
but it affects it.
Like it, and it burns like. I was like, I don't know, I got a bad tooth or what's going on here, and went to the dentist. They're like, no, you're good. And I said to her, it must be those damn cigars. And she looked at me and she goes, imagine that. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nurse center telling you that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the nurse, and Vic knows this. That's the nurse who are telling me that she doesn't want to pay attention to her own stuff sometimes. It's like, nurses are the worst patients.
Oh, yeah.
They're quick at telling you what you're doing wrong, but it's like,
oh,
hey,
yeah.
did you do? She goes, quit telling me what to do. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
I know what's going on. I don't need somebody to tell me. I know what to do. Then do it. Shut up.
Like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We had a viewer, and then all of a sudden it went away. I think it was one of your guys' wife. Yeah.
It probably wasn't mine. She doesn't give a shit.
Mine's probably already in bed.
I'm
not even lying.
At least
she only goes to bed at like 8:30.
That's pretty early.
Well, I mean, she gets up at like 4.
Yeah, that's really early.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, fuck that.
Sometimes I've gone to sleep at 4 sometimes,
Yeah, I still have more reading to do for school board meeting on Tuesday.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I basically go from my VA appointment straight to the school board meeting.
Well, that sounds like fun. I've got some upcoming VA appointments this month. So
are you 100% yet?
Yeah. Yeah, I just went over.
Yeah. So hopefully, fingers
You'll
crossed.
you'll get there eventually.
Yeah. I mean, Amy was doing more homework on it than I was, but the sleep apnea, I guess they're supposed to, the month of May now, in this month, is when they're switching over to the 10% instead of 50% for sleep apnea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like my VA rating, I the DAV guy and I did the my actual VA rating is at
Mm-hmm.
90 is a 92%.
Oh,
Um,
you're close, man.
yeah, so if they give me 50%, which they have in the past have been for many years now for sleep apnea, that'd put
Mm-hmm.
me over 95%. But if they only give me 10%, that only raises me to 93%. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but I'm also claiming, and the week after next, I have another appointment with a dentist because I'm claiming the tooth that the army fucked up.
Is that
Um,
the through the VA? The
yes.
dentist? Yeah.
Yep. Um, but they were like, well, you can claim it, but I don't know that they're going to give you a part of your rating. And I'm like, but the army is the one who fucked it up. You know,
Yeah.
it was just fine until they decided they wanted to put a crown on it, and they ruined it and had to pull the whole tooth. Yeah, it was completely stable for 17 years, and then they're like, oh, let's go ahead and put a different crown on it, and they jacked up the root and got all infected, and yeah, it
Gotta
was
love.
yeah. So hopefully, but maybe between those two things, and then I've already got a lawyer picked out that if it comes back under 90 or 100%, I'm gonna go to a lawyer.
Well, there's
So
plenty of people out there that, you know how to navigate and do different things to help. So
yeah,
You got
well,
you got to get a lawyer, Vic. Send it to me.
do what?
Said if you have a good lawyer that you're
Oh
willing
yeah,
to go to, send it to me.
okay, yeah, I will. Absolutely.
You guys make me sick talking about all your VA ratings and disabilities and
yeah. Well, yeah, I
I'm
know.
playing with you guys. I'm messing with you.
I hear you. Yeah.
Guy I work with, he was in the army, but is I'm not trying to get. It's not a nasty topic. It's a common thing, but is
Yeah.
erectile dysfunction considered a disability?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yeah,
You don't get a percentage on your, like, it's not necessarily a percentage added in, but
yeah,
in addition to. So if it's claimed or whatever, it will. Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's one thing he's talked to me about. So that's why I was asking. I was like, huh.
Mm.
Hi, Daniel.
Danielle Baker,
You
who's
know who
that?
that is? That's the guy from Tracer Burnout, one of the guys from there.
Oh yeah.
Daniel. Oh, I'm
Dan.
sorry. I
Yeah.
said Danielle. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How you
So
doing there, Dan? Hopefully things are good.
Man, they post some neat things online.
oh, I forgot to talk about it. I didn't grab the article, but I saw something on Instagram that said it was a summary of an article that the commandant of the Marine Corps thinks junior Marines should have a say where they go, and opened up the door in negotiations and talks about homesteading. So
Homesteading.
Is
yeah.
that new?
Yes. Well, I mean, the article looked like it was recent, like a couple weeks old, like a week old or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but like,
understand homesteading, but what I mean, what homesteading in the military? What is that?
where no, once you just like the Air Force does it. Once you get assigned to a base, you don't have to leave. You can stay at that base for your entire career, 4 years
Well,
or 30 years. Yeah,
that must be nice.
Well, a lot of the infantry guys can, I won't say stay at the same base the whole time, but uh, like they're guys that practically stay at Pendleton the whole time, in their infantry units and stuff in their
yeah.
MOS. Um, and they don't go to the East Coast, but it just depends. But the smaller MOSs, they're going all over the place,
You
especially the
guys,
higher rank you get, the more the less places that you can go, you know?
Do you guys follow Sergeant Major Bull on Instagram, or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
He
that's
has
where I
a
saw it.
podcast too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I've seen some clips of him on a podcast. I don't know if it's his or not, but I've seen him
I
on.
think it's him and one other guy,
Yeah.
like a retired mass sergeant or something like that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was on his Instagram page, the whole article and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, what do you guys think about homesteading? And nobody has responded to my comment, but I put a pretty long post about why I think it's a bad idea. But we'll
Wow.
see. Yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
get it. I get homesteading once you're at a certain point in the career, but I think it's a bad idea for, maybe I'm wrong, for, junior Marines, at least in the Marine Corps.
Well, I think it has, in my opinion, I think it would play more into families. So
Well,
once
that's
your
what I'm
family's
saying.
like get
Yeah.
high school, right? Your kids are in high school. You don't want to move them around. You want to keep them in place. So if you can stay in a place longer to allow that to happen, it's an extra 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
But, that's a difficult thing is, you could be older, when I say older, like 23, 24, be married, already have 2 kids coming in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And, within 7, 8 years, all of a sudden have kids going into middle school and high school, 10 years. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying it by rank. I could see it being an option,
hmm
but there's too many variables in that as far as junior Marines having to move. But I also and that's one thing that I've always said. One of my biggest regrets being in the military with my kids is the Marine Corps, is my kids didn't grow up around their grandparents.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But my parents were in Pennsylvania. Kelly's mother was in Pennsylvania, but her dad is in Washington State. So
hmm
they would have the option of being around 3 a bit, and then their grandfather in Washington State. But
Yeah.
the way I look at it, and Vic, your daughter's getting ready to graduate here in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And going to college, and the resilience that they have gotten. I think it's a bad thing when you get kids in high school and all of a sudden you start pulling them and moving them around. I'm not a big fan of that, but unfortunately it happens. But at that point, I would have been at the point where, okay, you guys stay here and I'll go,
Yeah.
kind of thing, to keep them here.
That's what most people do.
Yeah.
hmm
But,
Which
as
isn't,
far
that's
as,
not good for the family either.
yeah. But, the way I look at it, even as a person, is a Marine, and I won't even say Marine, but but I'll say Marine because we're Marines. But I'll put it into perspective like a football team or a coaching or baseball or whatever. When you're in the same environment day after day after day, and you're in the same coaching staff day after day after day, it was great, but it ain't great anymore. What are we doing? And it sucks. All of a sudden you go to another duty station, you're like, what the hell is this train wreck? We've all done it.
Yeah.
But
Hey Shannon, how you doing? Sorry. Hope you're doing well, man. Here's what Dan says. Homesteading should be case by case dependent. Time and service, family situation, career opportunities should all be considered.
absolutely.
Yeah. Are they doing more homesteading stuff in the Army, Dan? Sorry. You can keep going.
No, you're good. No, those are.
Well,
good
I mean,
plan. I actually kind of like that.
My particular take on it was all it would take is 1 or 2 bad apples in key leadership positions, and then word would get out and all the shitbags would want to go to wherever those people are at. And then what does that do to the command? The master guns or the sergeant major that doesn't really care about weight, or, things like that, or, shuffle things, sexual harassment or something like that under the rug, the good old boy network. You know, all it takes is one or two bad leaders in key positions, and then all the ship packs will gravitate to them. And then at best, your command would become toxic. You know, at worst, you're dysfunctional and non-deployable. You know,
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that homesteading limited to enlisted?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
think
didn't know by the article you were talking about. I didn't know if it was just
Yeah.
limited to enlisted or.
And that was the other
Not-
thing I said is, is like homesteading completely, not completely, but really, really hinders the spreading of wisdom and experience and knowledge.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a, we've all been in units where it was like, man, this is the best thing I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
The dynamic, the chemistry is just like, this is awesome. And then people start going out and people start coming in. And it's like, what the hell happened?
Mm-hmm.
But, it always has a way of sorting itself out.
I think one of the first things that came up with it was when they were talking about kids or when your kids were in high school and stuff like that. That's when it first came out, and they were like, well, we can look at the potential of leaving somebody in place during that time.
Yep.
So.
And like Daniel said, I mean, it's case by case dependent, but I don't think it should be an everybody rule. I think
I'd agree with that.
Because if that's the case, then nobody's going to want to go to 29 Palms,
Yeah.
And every branch has their duty stations that nobody wants to go to,
True.
So what happens, if everybody's allowed to homestead, then all the really good duty stations, Hawaii and Okinawa, nobody ever gets to go there because
you never get to go there because everybody stays planted.
Yep, exactly. And I guess my one unit that's over in Okinawa, I can't go until the EC who's homesteading there retires from the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't know. It's a definitely a complex subject.
I see the benefits and I see the negatives of it. I mean, I see some good coming out of it, but
the Army is going to take care of the Army first, and then the unit readiness, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and down and the line till eventually it gets to the soldier. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, institution comes first.
Yeah. Yep.
That is very, very true.
And then somebody else wrote in the comments about in that thread on Saturday Bulls post was, what the heck was it? Junior, service members basically trying to hold the command hostage by saying, I'm not going to re-enlist unless you give me my duty station preference.
Yeah.
How many times did both of you have to say, well, and this is what I put on the post, several Marines, good Marines even, they come in and like, hey, I'm going to get out unless I can go. And then my response to them was, patriotism noted. Thank you for your service. Don't forget to take notes during your transition class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I see it too.
Yeah.
I mean, needs of the Corps, needs of the institution first. I mean, if they say, hey, you're needed here, well, then you go there. Yeah. And if you don't like it, then you can get out at any point in time. There ain't nothing stopping you.
Yeah. Well, that's something that, the military, or I'll say the Marine Corps is good at, but I experienced that in the corporate world. Not that I'm some big corporate guy. I'm not by any means, but it was 3 years ago. We had a guy that thought extremely highly of himself in the group I work in as an electrician. He was experienced, and I won't say he was experienced, but he knew enough to talk the talk and do certain things.
Right.
But he decided that that wasn't what he was hired for, and he was hired specifically to be an electrician. And he had his ulterior motives because he had side businesses going on and stuff like that. So he wanted to be close to the shop so he could be close to home. But he finally sent out an ultimatum to our boss and said, hey, another another plant, the same company, but another group. You know, they're paying this and they're paying that, and I've got job offers, and unless you pay me this amount of money, you know, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And my boss had to turn around and he's like, okay, well,
Have a
give me a
nice
little
day.
bit. Give me a little bit. Yeah, he didn't have the you know, he didn't have the as they call it with in our company with Koch Industries, the after the word I'm trying to think of is not there. But anyways, he didn't have the basically the right to fire him.
Mm.
So he forwarded on, and it went to base legal. Not base, but corporate legal. Within 6 hours, it came back, and they said he delivered an ultimatum: fire him.
Oh, wow.
He wants to deliver an ultimatum, then he's already got another position, so fire him.
Nice.
You know, and that's the corporate world. They're like, "Yep, you want to do that? You want to threaten us? Okay." It's like somebody else waiting to take your job.
Yeah.
So
It's very true,
that's
though.
what happened. But
Play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
well, that was just it. F around,
Yeah.
find out. You know, it's.
Yep.
But we've all experienced that where people try to sit there and flex, and it's like, okay, well.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So-
wish I had that opportunity at Pendleton. I was trying to get to repair school, and I think I've told this story before. But you know, we were going into Iraq. It's like, okay, that's not going to happen. Got back, 03, turned around and reapplied in 03, and FO. Yep, Daniel's right. F around
That's
and
right.
find out. But you know, all of a sudden I replied again, and you know, didn't get selected. But there's people got selected, and I'm like, the hell is this crap?
Yeah.
You know, and Andrew, you know a couple of them. I'm going to sit here and, you know, one of them actually is a good friend of mine, but other ones I knew, but I didn't know so well. But and found that out when we were in Iraq in 04, and I emailed MPO 20. At the time, it was MPO 20, and I can't remember who the hell it was.
Yeah.
What was it? I will say her.
What
name.
year was that?
2004. O'Quinn,
Oakwin?
yeah. I emailed her and got a response back. Her and I have nothing but respect for him. But Master Gunny Mueller,
Mueller?
and
Yeah.
he replied back to me. He said, "Well, the way the field looks at it is, if you really wanted this, you would have found a way not to deploy."
Yeah, that's weird.
That was my response from 2003 going into 2004.
Yeah, that's very
It's
strange.
like, if I really wanted to do this, I would have found a way not to deploy. Last I checked, I didn't have a damn say in it unless I wanted to be a damn conscientious objector. You know, it's like, you know, hell, there was a stop loss put into play. People couldn't even get out or retired.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I could have found a way?
Yeah.
To not
I don't
deploy.
know, man. I don't think there's any way you could have found a way.
Well, the biggest thing they told me is, well, you don't have a B billet. I was like, motherfuckers, I tried. I tried to go to security forces. I tried to do MSG. I tried to do Yankee White program. Hell, I didn't even want to do it, but I tried to I went, okay, I was going to go try recruiting.
Yeah.
And I got rejected from all of them because the field wouldn't let me go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a problem for a long time.
They couldn't get anybody to go at the time to 29 Palms.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a little over 4 years in 29 Palms. I don't regret any of it, but you know, it's like, okay.
Yeah, when others didn't have to deal with that at all, and just kind of fell out.
I'm not going to say some of them, you know, like you went out and did, you know, deployment. You went out and did. We're a drill instructor. I mean,
I
Vic,
did.
you
I
went
did
out.
make.
You did recruiting.
I did make a lot of people mad when I did that, though.
What, the DI?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that when I was still a Pendleton when you were applying. I remember
Yeah.
that plain as day.
You couldn't use the possibility of irreparable harm to your mustache as a reason to be non-deployed.
This is non-deployable. This is non-deployable.
That's
Well,
good.
Vic was in. You were in Kuwait in 03, right, Vic? I'm only saying this because of mustaches.
Yeah,
No.
we saw each other over there.
Al Assad, 2004.
In 03.
Not in 03, no.
Okay. I thought you were over there in 03, and
Al Assad,
I
2004.
swear when we got back, El Toro, it was El Toro at the time. Well, no, man, it's probably Miramar then, but was in Kuwait when we got back down. But
No, Miramar was there. He just wasn't there at that time.
Yeah, correct.
yeah, I couldn't remember if it was El Toro or Miramar. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah,
It was Miramar.
I think it was Miramar.
Anyways, the whole mustache thing is we sat in Kuwait for over a month, and then before we went into Kuwait and to Baghdad, we were sitting there. I mean, we were days before the war, and all of a sudden, everybody got the order. Everybody grow a mustache. Everybody grow a mustache.
They were telling you to?
It's like, what the hell? Why are we growing a mustache? And they're like, well, there was a report of Kuwait, Iraqis had got a hold of seized U.S. military uniforms.
Oh.
And they knew that
I
we
remember hearing
shaved.
this.
So they were shaving, their beards and all that.
Yeah.
So we were made to grow mustaches.
Yeah.
So all you did is sit there and walk around and see everybody with freaking mustaches on. It's like, man, this is a weird thing. And all of a sudden they're like, within an hour, they're like, we're moving out an hour, everybody shave. And it's like, if you grew a mustache, if you grew a facial hair decent, trying to dry shave, you're like, hanging a razor off your face. It's like,
yeah, nothing like dry shaving. Yeah, buddy.
It's like they gave everybody damn pigeons for chemical attack, and we were sitting there with cages of pigeons, and they'd be sitting there, and all of a sudden it's like, pigeon would be just sitting there, just fall over, and everybody's like, that pigeon just die?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you all of a sudden hear somebody yell, gas, 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 and everyone's freaking out because the damn pigeon fell over. It's like, no, the pigeon fell over because he got too much fucking sand up his snout, so he's dead. He couldn't handle
couldn't handle the weather.
We spent 6 hours in full bop gear, and damn pigeon's laying there. Like, well, can we eat it?
Oh my God, that's
Don't
funny.
they call that swab? Squab? What? I mean, can we like mix it in with an MRE or something? I mean, what?
Yeah, I know. Cooking it up, little bitty pigeon legs.
Yeah. Remember that when we were sitting outside of Iraq in 04? Remember we had to go out. We were sitting there for like 2 weeks. Andrew, before we went back in and doing all those drills, and
before we went on that convoy.
Yeah, killed that damn goat.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You remember that? He was a captain. It was Cannondale or something like that. He was a linguist, but he was an intel guy. But he was in my vehicle with Colonel Baker and all that. But they went out and negotiated with a goat farmer and bought a goat. And they were out there just grilling that baby up, just going to town, man. They dug a pit, and Colonel's like, yeah, go ahead. And
nice.
They're like, you don't remember that?
I don't remember that at all, no.
Everybody come out and get some goat. Went out there, and they're like, yeah, it's done. Funny. And I'm sitting there looking, and they're cutting it up with a K-bar, and I'm like, the hell's moving in it?
Oh.
Nope. And I'm like, that damn thing ain't cooked. I mean, that thing was so full of worms. I mean, they're literally cutting meat off it, and you can see look like freaking grubs, like coming out of it.
Ugh.
It's like,
And they were eating.
no,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass.
somebody ate it. I didn't eat it.
Yeah, just throw a little hot sauce and some MRE cheese on it.
No,
It'll be
no.
fine.
That baby needed to be flame broiled to a well done. Because it was even if it was well done, I still wasn't eating it.
That's pretty gross.
Sorry, we kind of got off topic. I'm sorry. I apologize. A
That's
little
all
hot
right.
sauce and MRE cheese on it'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I really like this when we go live and people can comment and stuff. It's pretty cool. And I'm getting people on from YouTube. That's where Dan's on, and then I got guys from Facebook on there as well. So it's in two different platforms. I tried to put it on X, but it didn't work. So I gotta pay for the next level to get it to go live there, and I don't want to do that. So YouTube and Facebook it is. I have to do the same thing well, actually, I think I can do TikTok, but whenever I put it up, I have to go into TikTok and then allow it or something like that. I haven't tried that.
Hey, Daniel, just so you know, you don't have to be a hater. I mean, it's just
He's got
what it is.
He's got a big old beard, man.
It's
Last
fine,
time I saw him.
luxurious. It's just, hey, we can't all have it.
Dan,
It's
throw us
okay.
a picture. Throw a picture up there of your beard. I know you had one at one point in time. Do you still have it? I don't know. We'll see if he hears this. If he's
Yeah.
still listening. But yeah. Any listeners out there got questions? He said, "Haha, you so crazy."
Is that his quote of the day?
Yeah.
Is that his words of wisdom?
Yeah, there you go.
You so crazy.
I love it. Yeah. But it's pretty cool, this little thing we can interact with everybody or whatever as we're going through. I think I'm going to do this every time we record on Sundays.
Yeah, I like it.
I might do it on probably not the individual veteran stories, but the fireside chats I may do. But well, at least this one. So yeah.
Oh, that was my sister. I was messaging her, and she goes, "Yes, I'm off now. I didn't want to sit there like you thought I was hovering over you and monitoring you." I was like, "No, that's okay." I said, "No, please."
Monitoring you.
Well,
I
she's
like
my big sister, but I'm good. She can. I was like, whatever.
Oh man. Well, I guess we can go ahead and we can jump into our words of wisdom. All right. You guys got words of wisdom this go around?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you said that with some enthusiasm. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right,
And
Sensei. Give us some
because of
words of wisdom.
our little cloistial group here, I will say the less people you chill with, the less bullshit you deal with.
Ooh. That's pretty good. Yeah. I like that. I like it. The less people you chill with, the less shit you deal with. Is that what you said?
Yep, the less bullshit you deal with.
I like it. Very nice. Mike, you got anything?
Yeah, I got one here. There is no amount of guilt that can change the past, and there is no amount of anxiety that can change the future. Just live in the present and live.
Yeah. That's true though. Very true. I like it. So did you Mike, did you know Stacy Crowther? You know her?
I was never stationed with her. I don't know when she came in. I know her, and if I saw her, I would know her, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we're not like close by any means. No.
She and
Yeah.
I served together. We were at the School of Music together for basic students. Then went different ways, and came back. We were at Miramar together. We deployed together. So yeah, I've known her for quite a long time.
She is getting ready to have a baby.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
wasn't she the one that was trying to go to be the president's home drill major?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the funeral director for the Marine Corps right now at Arlington. But she's having a baby. She's supposed to have it anytime, literally
Yeah.
today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, at your retirement, I went up and introduced myself, and she said she knew me or knew of me, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's nice to meet you. You know, so
yeah,
it's like, that's the sad thing. There's people there I couldn't tell you if I had met her in my life, and they're introduced myself, and they were like, well, I know you. I mean, I was like, okay, is that a good thing? Was that a bad thing, or what?
Oh, this is Dan's. Here we go. Think seriously about the people in your life that you would help bury a body with no questions asked after a 0300 phone call. Those are your friends. Yeah, that's a true
True story.
statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes
Yeah.
in line with the one I keep seeing online. It's, you know, we all have good friends and we have best friends. Good friends know all your stories. Best friends help you write them.
Ooh, yeah. That was good too. I like that. Or
Or
accomplices.
Why is he not on here?
I don't know. He could have jumped on here. I didn't. I haven't sent that the new link out to those guys, but they're always welcome. Dan, you're always welcome on here anytime. So I can invite you on there if you want to come on.
Well, we'll make room for an Army guy. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll give him a small frame in the bottom, so he's not as big as ours. We'll just make it smaller.
Well, he'll have some comment. It's like, oh, you push the crayons off to the side, you know, or something like that. So.
I love it. I got a message yesterday. When I drove up to Pennsylvania, I was getting ready, heading back, and I got like on Messenger, got a message, and it was like, "Hey, you want to come on a podcast tomorrow or tonight?" And I'm like, I have no idea who this person is, nothing. And I'm like, this is weird. So I messaged Carlene. I'm like, hey, do you know this person? And she's like, no, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, well, I have no idea who it is. So I was like, hey, what's the podcast about? Whatever. So I just went on a podcast last night and I had no idea who they were. I just jumped on and had fun. So yeah, it was pretty funny though. A small frame for a big person. Yeah, I like it. That was good.
He thinks highly of himself. We all
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Oh man, this is great. Well, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Do you guys got anything else you want to say or anything like that?
Good time tonight. Good time.
Yeah.
It's always a good time to be on with you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And we're going to do this with the comment thing, and Dan is going to tell us if he wants to come on at some point, and we'll send him the link so he can come on. Yeah. Well, like always, guys, thanks for coming on and doing this. I appreciate it. Love you guys. And to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget that the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. I know Vic and Mike and even Dan down there, he cares about you. Even though he's talking crap about Marines now. You guys are awesome for crayon snacking flute players. I like it. But don't forget,
Too bad none of us
even
are freaking flute players, Dan.
even Dan cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to your buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, Dan, thanks for coming on and talking to us here, messaging us. It was a good time. Mike, Vic, thank you guys. Love you.
Thank you.
And to all the listeners out there, stay motivated. Change your socks. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let me try that again. Stay motivated. Change your socks.